The pitch process to get this film going on Bad Company at ESPN started almost 2 years ago. One of my colleagues, Wright Thompson, has been sending Marlin videos to my boss and executive producer for a couple years, showing them how many hits they were getting, how many views they were getting, the interest that was in the sport, the aesthetics, just the visual, captivating nature of big marlin fishing. I'm a fisherman myself. I'm passionate about the sport, and so I've been looking for a long time of a way to do a story on sport fishing. So my boss connected me and Wright together. We started talking about ideas. I think we both discovered Bad Company and the World Tour around the same time, looking through Instagram, looking through social media. We reached out to Anthony Shea. We had a call with him, and I think we both walked away from that call feeling like this was a really, really strong option to do something special about sport fishing for ESPN, which, as far as I know, has not done a feature-length documentary on sport fishing, at least not like this in their history. There's a lot of planning that goes into a trip like this, an international trip, shooting out at sea. It's something that we don't have a ton of experience with. So there's a lot of talk internally about logistics, about how many trips we can feasibly do, who's got to come on those trips, and what are the things we need to capture when we're on those trips. So there's a lot of pre-production meetings. So we've been talking with them logistically about gear, about shots, about feasibly how we get things from one place to another. That's a big challenge for us, how to pack minimally and be able to get everything on these commercial flights out to the Azores. And so there's a lot of thought and a lot of planning on how to get out here with the right stuff, the right people at the right time. And we picked the Azores, not only because it's somewhat easy for us to get to from the east coast of the US, but because of how much success the Bad Company team has had fishing here over the last couple of years.
Check them on the dock there, bro.
You know, early on, identified a crew that I thought would be great for this. A couple guys named Mike Bollacke, his brother Jeff Bollacke. He's got a team of shooters. We ended up with Ian Mcgrew as a second shooter. Those guys are really experienced. In my 17 years at ESPN, I probably shot more with them than any other crew. They shoot a ton for ESPN, and they're not only talented, but really good guys. And knowing that we're going to be out on a boat, out at sea in close quarters together, you got to be careful about who you pick to come with you.
Well, we got a full boat today.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
I just hope that the ocean has mercy on us today. We got almost as much audio video equipment as we do fishing rods on here today, which is good. And this is what it's all about. It doesn't really matter what you fish for. It's a passion to fish. So this is good for our sport.
You know, Bad Company team has welcomed us, given us access into their world. That's really the most important thing for us, is to get buy-in from the subjects of the films that we're working on. And so, you know, there's a lot of unknown before you go into this, but we felt really good about the conversations we had leading up to it. And so far, we've been welcomed with open arms. The team has been super accommodating. Hopefully we've been able to work and do our thing without interrupting their fishing and what they need to do. And so, you know, we're in a beautiful place in a remote part of the world, shooting something that I've never had experience shooting before, that ESPN has not really dived into as a topic to cover before. And so with so many unknowns, you know, everyone's safe, we're getting good footage, we're getting along with everyone, so it's going really well.
I think like most people who didn't grow up fishing, especially big game fish fishing, I came to it through YouTube, watching these incredible clips. I mean, the number of people who are interacting with your world tour and with sport fishing, and especially marlin fishing for the first time, is it's through these videos you guys are doing, which are really incredible. So we just sat and watched them for a couple of days with our jaws hanging open, and then because it's our job, we were like, we need to get on that boat. And that was about 2 years ago. Once we sold everybody on the idea of the story, which, you know, isn't just the fact that people are catching big fish, but a story about obsession and a story about the ocean. And I think, you know, the power and enduring mystery of the ocean, everybody was on board. We've been thinking about this trip specifically for a long time. And then, you know, the challenge of filming a fish story is the same challenge as fishing, which is finding and catching the fish.
It's majestic. I mean, the blue marlin in itself is majestic, and it's power, strength, speed, elegance. But when you see a 700-pounder, it's a completely different feeling. It's a completely different reaction. And that's the thrill. The thrill is to see the big one. And over the course of the last 2.5 years, we sold 2 super branders. We hooked 2 super branders, 1,300. And that's the one that haunts you. That's the one that you hope to see any given day. Out of 250 days, traveling all over the world, putting ourselves in optimum position to see the big fish. After 250 days, we saw 2. So those are your odds. Like right now, any second she could come. Any second she could come. Or not. They're smart. The big ones are real smart.
Anthony and Steve are out there until the bitter end every day. I mean, that was interesting to me, that no one's watching. You know, we could come back to port and go to the bar, and they're out there fishing until the last blip on the sonar has been exhausted. And so these are really, really intense people, and it's clear that they respect each other and that they dearly respect the crew, and also that the crew respects them. I came in thinking it was going to be this big macho hunt to catch and kill 1,000-pound fish, which, you know, frankly was interesting. But I think we've come away understanding it as something much more interesting. I mean, it's much more soul surfing than competition surfing. I mean, it's more Laird Hamilton than it is Kelly Slater. I mean, there is a sense here that these are serious tournament fishermen who are at the end of their careers doing something wholly different, which is catching and releasing these enormous fish with the only goal being the feeling that you get when you do it together and the knowledge of the ocean and the joy and discovery of new oceans and new fisheries. Because if they just wanted to catch big fish, they could park these boats right here and they know where to be. But there's a sense of adventure and of growing the sport and of taking these boats around the world for no other reason than because we are human beings and our days on this spinning rock are limited. And while you have them and have the resources, you should go and see and do and be.
Yeah, so this year's definitely been a completely different year than what we experienced last year, like polar opposite. And definitely had challenges fishing. I didn't fish super well a few days, and other days when we were able to get some bites, we didn't capitalize on them. The fish got away, and it's just been it's been a real challenge all the way around, mentally, physically. The weather's been kind of bad. We kept trying to wander off and find some different areas and looked at all the subsurface temperatures, the surface temperatures, tried to put the weather together, and we just couldn't seem to get in any type of a rhythm. You know, the fish wouldn't really be in the same places. You couldn't wander off to something that looked good and find fish a lot of the days, and it's definitely been a different type of a year. So this whole trip we've had group after group, and the first one was Charles and Barkey and Skip, and then we brought Anthony's kind enough, he donates his boat to War Heroes on the Water as an auction. And we had those guys on the boat for a few days, and we went right out of that. We're rolling into this ESPN group that we have on board. Super cool guys, this whole group, but a lot of people, a lot of gear, man. I've never seen so much gear. I'm not certain how that all came together. I guess they've been watching some of Anthony's posts for several years, and they contacted Anthony and said they wanted to come out and check it all out. And you know, Anthony truly is trying to boost the fishing and the fishing community and the travel fishing and get people super jazzed up on fishing again. And this is just a great platform to be able to do all that. So it's really hard for us to figure out why the fishing's different than last year. It's like this time last year, you know, I think we caught 40 fish or something in a week or whatever the number was. It was pretty outstanding. We probably saw 100 fish in the same week, same moon phase, everything pretty much identical. One of the differences is there's been a super El Nino this year. We don't know if that has something to do with it, but for whatever reason, this place is cyclical at times. But you know, there's so many different islands you can get to and so many places you can go to. That could be a part of it too. We're just kind of localized here. And we kind of got tied down with all the groups coming in this year, and we couldn't really stretch it out as much as we wanted to. That might have made a little difference as well. But whatever it is, the fishing is just so much slower this year. And still a great place, still seeing giant fish. I mean, we caught two that, you know, were right there, if not over. Just caught an 850 the other day. I mean, how can you complain about stuff like that? You know, you could fish a week and catch an 850. Before we started this tour, I would have been like, oh my gosh, you know, I'd go to that place 7 days a week, you know, but definitely not what we've been seeing.
First day, there was nothing, and then we had lots and lots of marlin, and it was really exciting. I'd never seen a blue marlin, live and in the flesh before. You know, it's an apex predator. Look, everybody watching this video knows way more about marlin than I do, but as someone who'd never seen one before and who got, you know, eye to eye with one, those are real big motherfuckers, and it'll take your breath away.
lot of boats are these people's. There's enormous investment of time and money.
Out in the back, leader. This one's some Marlin Magic. We got a mix of some boys out there, some Marlin Magics, a couple Goyas. It's right there. Okay. He's right there. He's right there.
Oh, I saw something in there.
Oh yeah, hit it. That's it. No! Not there! Not there!
So we had a fish come up on the teaser, the smaller model. Got the pitch bait back. Missed it the first time. Came back.
Yeah, I have nothing to compare to how the fishing has been, but to me the fishing has been awesome. You know, it was slow on the first day. I don't think we got any bites on the first day. Day 2, within 10-15 minutes of dropping the lures in the water, we doubled up on 2 marlin at the same time. From what I understand, that's rare. I think it's maybe only the 3rd or 4th time that 2 marlin have been landed at the same time during this whole world tour, so we felt pretty special. So our guys were scrambling around trying to get the best shots. And you know, I think one thing we're learning is that it takes a lot of time to go out and catch these fish, and there's a lot of time in between catching fish, but you got to be ready because it's any second that it comes, and that moment when it comes, watching everybody jump into action, know exactly where to be, what they're supposed to do, has been really impressive.
Ian Anthony.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice, boys.
Perfect execution. Very nice execution, boys. Very nice. Textbook.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Hey,
Ciao, Tanner. Good job, boys.
Yeah, dude, nice work.
Good job.
that's the one I saw Mark when I walked.
I know. What took you so long? Good job, Cap.
You know, before we came out here, the Bad Company World Tour in my mind almost felt unreal. It felt like I was watching a movie in a foreign place with people that I didn't know or didn't have a sense of. To be out here, to meet everyone and see that it's not just big boats, private planes, motherships, and see how the people work through each day to do their job has been eye-opening. So I think it's brought it down to earth a little bit and made it feel real and tangible. And I think we're just scratching the surface. So I don't know that I know what it's about yet. But the journey of trying to discover what it's about feels real and attainable now. I never worked with Wright on a project before this one, so we've mostly been talking on the phone. I met him a couple times in passing over the last 15, 16 years. We both started at ESPN around the same time, around 2007, 2008. And so this has really been my first opportunity to spend a lot of time with Wright in person. You know, he is a big thinker. He has strong visions. He expresses himself in a captivating manner. And ultimately, he's just a regular guy who's curious and following his curiosity, is passionate about what he's doing and being in the moment with what he's doing. And in the 3 or 4 days that I've been with him out here in the Azores, I've already learned a ton.
Next trip.
What's next then?
Next trip is big change. We're going to Bazaruto, South Indian Ocean on the 175 and the 43. We have a 25-day gap and then gonna get with it again.
We leave the game boat every day, and the fishing team goes to the support vessel, and we go up into town and have dinner, and either at Peter's or at the Chinese restaurant, and we sit around and talk and sort of process the day. And I think one of the things that's really come through in those conversations is how much we respect the professionalism of everybody on the crew, because it is very clear after 5 minutes that these are people who are practicing a craft that is approaching an art. And I don't know, I think people thought that it was going to be a billionaire with a bunch of toys. And I think what we are finding is a bunch of fishermen, a bunch of sailors, a bunch of watermen, a bunch of people who know their way around the water and what's under it and how to thrive on top of it. And I think everybody's a little stunned at watching people practice their craft. From Steve, who's been doing this forever, I'm telling you, he backs that boat in here. I couldn't move a toy boat with as much precision to James, who has just started with the crew, who has clearly been around boats his whole life and really knows where to be and what to do. And you know, I don't know what we thought. We've been doing this job a long time, and one of the things you learn is never assume anything about anyone. And so we didn't really have an idea or a thought of what people would be. We were open to what we were going to find. And what we found was a bunch of really nice, talented dudes doing something that's never been done before.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's great.
Yes.
Get it.
Yes.
Minute.
Yes. Did you get Steve's good sign at the Oh, got it.
Come find it. Thanks, man.
Love it. Max, I'll send this over to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What?